Take a listen to what we heard from the Public Safety Minister, DOMIIC LEBLANC, earlier this week.
Do you plan to run for Liberal leader?
No, I plan to be a candidate in the next election under Prime Minister Trudeau's leadership. I'm very happy. I'm excited about that. I'm focused on the responsibilities he gave me.
Hey gang, what's up? Just Aaron right here at Question Period Canada. How y'all doing? So they're talking that DOMIIC LEBLANC might be the new leader of the Liberal Party, that Trudeau's gonna step down. This is a bunch of nonsense. Like, Trudeau's bad. LeBlanc is not better. And it's so weird. Like, how in the hell? Did you ever think that DOMIIC LEBLANC would be your prime minister? Come on. Who's going to vote for him as the leader of our country? I don't think many people. But this is what they're talking about. So let's take a peek at what the gossip going around town is. Let's take a peek. DOMIIC LEBLANC over Trudeau sucks. But LeBlanc is not a lot better, by any means. Glug, glug.
We all heard it, DOMIIC LEBLANC saying that the next election is for the Prime Minister to lead, but he's not denying any type of meeting he's had to explore his own options. You know, what does this say about unity within the Liberal ranks, or at the very least, the questions being asked about the future of the Prime Minister right now? Bob?
Well, we all know that everybody in the ministers' offices who want to run for the leader have been talking about this for many, many months of whether he's going to stay or go. They all want him to go. Nobody's going to say that publicly, but the writing is on the wall because Mr. Trudeau's approval ratings, the Liberal Party's approval ratings, are really in the dumps. And a lot of people feel that should he leave, that would open the door to the possibility that the Liberal Party can come back. Even though Mr. Poilievre is way ahead in the polls, it not necessarily means that people like him, but they're just fed up with Trudeau. And another alternative might change the whole picture. We don't know that. I mean, you know, politics is like that. But it certainly is, given the fact that it was DOMIIC LEBLANC, one of his best friends, one of the most competent cabinet ministers, a very smart, savvy political operator, who I expected him after that column came out, he'd come out and say, no, I'm not interested in running at all. He didn't do that. Yeah. And that sent a real signal to everybody in the political establishment of, something is going on here.
Yeah. Stephanie?
I mean, if we take a broader view of it all, I suppose, and you think about the next election and you think about the reality that the Liberals could lose that election, should they lose that election, there is no way Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stays on as leader of that party. That is not so far away that if you are thinking you would like that job, you might want to get going now and start building teams and start sussing things out. Is it a show of disloyalty in the Prime Minister, or is it just pragmatic politics? Because we also have to look at what happened to the Harper Conservatives. One of the big knocks against Stephen Harper on his way out the door in 2015 is there was no secession plan. There was no discussion about what was going to happen when Mr. Harper inevitably was no longer leader of the Conservative Party. And where did that leave them? 5 leadership races in 3 years is where it left them, and in the doghouse for a very long time among voters.
Well, in the talk of DOMIIC LEBLANC being interested in the leadership of the Liberal Party, I think will probably lead other candidates to maybe start thinking about it, or maybe organizing more openly about their ambitions. But we know that Mr. LeBlanc was interested in the past in the leadership of the Liberal Party, ruled it out once Mr. Trudeau decided to go. But it surely does leave the door open for the candidates to organize. I heard some speculation that Mr. Trudeau will probably make a final decision, although he keeps saying that he's going to run again, but his final decision will come down after the end of this session. And then he will make a definite decision on his future. And if that's the case, that will leave enough time for Liberals to organize a leadership race, and probably, I'm assuming that Mr. LeBlanc will be part of the candidates who will be running. Yeah, because he's perfectly bilingual. I mean, he can go from French to English, and he would have some appeal in Quebec, and that's a key ingredient for the Liberal Party to limit the damage, if I may say, or rebuild after the next federal election.
Yeah, listen, I'll try to get DOMIIC LEBLANC an assessment of him in a moment, but you know, it is one of these things where I kind of wonder what is the debate happening right now with the Prime Minister, because the Liberals have been trying to amend their agenda to reflect you know, why people are turning to the Conservatives, most recently with this budget turning to Gen Z and millennials. I was going to say Gen X for my people, but Gen Z, trying to turn it over. But really, when you look at the polling numbers, nothing seems to be working in terms of turning the numbers around. So I wonder about the internal debate in the Prime Minister's head and whether or not he can actually sell a policy that might turn things around for the party.
Well, look, I mean, they are really trying. They brought in new people in the Prime Minister's office. He's taken a much more proactive social media message. If you watched him, they've also been much more critical, the Liberals and their bots going after the Conservatives. And they've thrown everything, every bit of money they can at voters in the last couple of weeks as we led up to the budget. And so I think the thinking within the Prime Minister's office is, let's see how much we can chip down that strong lead by the Conservatives. The hope is to chip it down 5 points a month if they can try to bring them down. But I don't think that's going to necessarily work. Because I think people have stopped listening to Justin Trudeau. I think they're just fed up with him. And also the budget, it's got some good measures in it, but now we're starting to see a lot of real serious criticism about it from people who are affected by it. Doctors, for example, or people who want to sell their cottages, or entrepreneurs who want to invest in the innovation economy. That begins to undermine people's, are these guys really good at this anymore? They're good at spending money, but are they really good at getting policies out the door? And the housing measures, for example, are they're fine ideas, but they're not going to work overnight. So I just think that I think voters are fed up with Mr. Trudeau, and he's got to make a decision to think about the party rather than himself.
Yeah, and too, that I remember when the Liberal had their caucus in London, Ontario, I was wondering how good are they at reading the public opinion anymore? Because going in, they said, oh, everyone cares about the environment, and leaving, oh, it's all about housing. So what do you think about the discussions happening right now as to whether or not they can continue to sell policy and turn things around?
Well, there's two ways of looking at it. I suppose that all politics at the end, like the policy that comes out of politics, ought to be in response to the electorate, right? It ought to be in response to what people are saying they need from the government. The question is, do people with this suite of ideas in front of them from the Liberals, is that enough for them? Is that enough to say, okay, you know what, I believe it, you do in fact have my back, you are looking out for my best interest, or, as Bob says, are they just done caring, done trusting, done listening? All the pollsters, I think, were unanimous in saying this is a change election coming down the pipe. It just is. The Liberals will have been in power 10 years. No governments really last that long. It doesn't matter how much you throw at this. And so for the Liberals, and I think we all hear the same thing, they're pinning a lot of hopes in things outside of their control, right? They're hoping that interest rates come down. They're hoping that they can scare people off of Pierre Poilievre and his Conservative Party. They're to some degree hoping that people wake back up to the necessity of dealing with climate change in a meaningful way. How they sell a consumer price on carbon on that anymore, I don't know that they can. But they're just banking, I think, on, okay, well, if an election were held today, it is X. The election will not be held today. It will be held in 2025 at the earliest.
Giddee?
The other thing that is, I think, an element to consider is that Mr. Trudeau has lost all provincial allies. And the last one standing was the provincial premier of Newfoundland and Labrador. There is, although the BC premier is an NEP, but I think he's an ally of Mr. Trudeau. But, it's a difficult one because everybody is throwing stones at him, even provincial premiers, and that's happening in the House of Commons, and more you will see the NDP here, the political ally of the Liberals, doing the same thing. So Mr. Trudeau might be thinking that he's the best one to sell the Liberal message, but you've got so many people throwing stones at you, people can't hear you because you're saying ouch all the time.
Well, cast your mind back to 2015 when Stephen Harper was throwing all kinds of money at Canadians for that whole summer and leading up to the election campaign. And it didn't matter to anybody. And he was also, very disparaging of Mr. Trudeau as sort of some kind of a lightweight. Well, they're disparaging of Mr. Poilievre as some, little Trumpian guy. I'm not sure any of this stuff works when you reach the end of your term.
And quickly running time, so I'll turn to the two of you because, we talk about DOMIIC LEBLANC, but is anybody better than Trudeau at this point, including DOMIIC LEBLANC?
No. I mean, not necessarily. You could argue that there are people who are thinking about running for leadership that are bad communicators, that don't know how to work a room or a crowd, don't appear to be responding with people. I mean, say what you will about Mr. Trudeau, he's an excellent retail politician. You still need that skill, even with all the social. You need to be able to get out into a crowd and work them up. And I think that he still excels in that. When he gets that fight, that spirit going, he can motivate and animate people in a way that, I mean, it's possible Monsieur Leblon could do that with his sort of winsome charm that he sometimes displays and sharpness, but not anyone is better than Justin Trudeau. It's the question of the Liberal Party, to some extent, figuring out who would work in place of Justin Trudeau.
And I think the thing goes also within the Liberal ranks that if we elect a new leader now, will we sacrifice our new leader for nothing? And that's one of the element that the Liberals are thinking about. Do we have, if we have a new leader, will that leader do better? Or are we going to the slaughterhouse with a new leader and it won't change anything? So that's part of the thinking that is going on. And we'll see. Mr. Trudeau still has some months to go. But I'm told that after this session, the big thinking will start for real.
Yeah, and I think part of that is the fact that no one expected them to win a majority government back in 2015 either. They were meant to be second before first. Last answer from you on the same thing. Do you think anyone is better than Trudeau, or is he?
No,
still
I
a
agree with
chance?
Stephanie that Trudeau is the better candidate, and he's a very good retail politician, and he has charisma, but it's run out. But there are people like Francois Philippe Champagne who can come in here and, hello, you guys! He's like a little Chrétien, right? So, don't discount him. I mean, Mélanie Joly is very warm personality. She's good as a politician in a room. She has different personalities, but it doesn't mean that he can be the salvation. We don't know what would happen when an election, if Mr. Trudeau leaves, because all of a sudden all the attention is paid by journalists in the country on who is going to be the next Liberal leader, and when they come in, there's usually a honeymoon period of time unless they really screw up, and that can change the whole dynamics of an election campaign. So, I've seen this before, so let's wait and see if Mr. Trudeau walks the plank or decides to hang in and fall in the water.
Bob, Stephanie, Jean-Denis, thank you for this.
Thank you, Michael.
There are so many questions left unanswered. Why in the hell would the Liberal caucus decide to put DOMIIC LEBLANC in charge of the Liberal Party? Like, it would seem there's something going on in this soap opera, guys. Like, are you paying attention? I try to pay attention, but I cannot figure out what is going on. I am excited that there's talk of an election. That would be good for Canadians. But DOMIIC LEBLANC over Trudeau, that party needs a total rehaul. Something less WEF, something a little bit more Canadian and less whatever in the hell this bunch of Liberal cabinet ministers have gotten themselves up to. My name's Aaron. We watch Question Period here daily. We broadcast that stuff live. We've got an incredible chat room and a great community. Come join one of the live shows. I'm trying to learn how to make these videos. It's tough. I don't know. Like and subscribe. Get notified, share this. I'm trying to learn about Canadian politics because I care about the people at the grocery store. And these are the people that have recently really been getting sacked. I know I feel it, and those people are similar to me. I'm a Canadian, and I want to make this country better. We're trying to do it through this channel somehow, relating to people, showing them what we see. I didn't come into this pre-programmed as a conservative. I started watching the politics, and now I know what's going on, and it's a sham. We need an election like this talk about DOMIIC LEBLANC taking over the Liberal Party leadership. It's pretty ridiculous, but there's always going to be chatter and gossip for sure. So check out our videos, like and subscribe. We'll try to keep you updated with what we're learning about Canadian federal politics. Right here, Question Period Canada. Like, subscribe, share, get notified, all that fun stuff. Check out one of the other videos floating around. Catch you next video. Thank you for watching. Stay warm. Have something healthy to eat today. All right, ciao.